What's up everybody, it's Evan here. So today's video comes from a discussion I was having with a coworker in which I was sharing with him some of the upgrades I was doing to my 4K home entertainment system. And he asked me, what would it cost to put something like that together for myself if I was building one from scratch? And I thought to myself, hey, I could put together a 4K entertainment system for $500. And he got a hearty laugh out of that and said that what I was saying was impossible. Now, I hadn't quite worked out the math in my head just yet, but I didn't think what I was saying was that far-fetched. So, is it impossible to build a 4K home entertainment system for only $500? Stay tuned to find out. So before we get into a discussion about how to build a 4K home entertainment system, I thought it would be advantageous if we talked about the difference between 4K versus 1080p. Now, these are two resolution standards that are most commonly used today, and 1080p is our broadcast standard for all cable, satellite, and even the old school bunny ears as far as what you view on television today is 9 times out of 10 shot in 1080p. And when we talk about Blu-rays and even current gen video games, for the most part, those are also done in 1080p. These are full HD images, and like this camera that I'm using right now to record this video, this is also a 1080p image that's being shown to you. Now, contrast that with a 4K image. Now we're going from 2 million pixels of information on screen to over 8 million pixels of information. And pixels are just the tiny dots that create the images that you see. So more information can give you higher quality images. And so today you're seeing that in movie theaters are using 4K. The latest video game systems, the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, all the high-end gaming computers, they all take advantage of native 4K now. So it's good to know like the differences between full HD and ultra HD. So when you go shopping for TVs or you're looking for particular content, those key words will trigger you to the level of content that you're viewing. So that is my 4K versus 1080p breakdown in a nutshell. So now that we've touched on some of the differences between 4K versus 1080p, let's now move on to the criteria I'm going to lay out for this 4K home entertainment system challenge. So I want to focus on four key components that makes a 4K home entertainment system. The first being a 4K display that has high dynamic range, or commonly referred to as HDR. Now, a 4K display could be a TV or a projector, but for the purposes of this challenge, I decided to stick with TVs because native 4K projectors are incredibly expensive. And the high dynamic range will be a key component that I'll just touch on later, but essentially HDR brings out the inky blacks, the really bright whites, and the really realistic color palettes that most people that, if you're going to invest in 4K, you're going to want to have that kind of quality. So we'll dive into that a little bit later, but let's move on to the sound system. And you're definitely going to want to have some type of sound system because those speakers on televisions today are super weak because they make everything slim and sexy, but that's at the cost of your sound system. And most 4K content comes with really great sound if you have a sound system that can produce it and carry it like audio engineers envisioned it when they created the content. So you would need to have like a sound bar or some type of home theater system with a speaker configuration like 5.1, 7.2, Dolby Atmos, and these are all just different ways of presenting the sound around you and creating an environment to really immerse you in this experience. Next up, you'll need some type of ultra high definition media player. Now, the TVs themselves are often smart TVs, so they kind of double up as both the display and the media player because you can stream 4K content on Netflix, Amazon Prime, uh, Vudu, things of that nature. You can also use a gaming console such as the new PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, or you can even buy a standalone 4K media player to produce these images or to have that type of experience. And finally, again, the media, as I touched on, like I said, there's streaming media, and then there's physical media you can buy. You can buy 4K ultra high definition discs, and I'll explain the pros and cons of that later on. But those are the four key components of our home entertainment system. So first part of my challenge was to find a 4K display, and I went with the TV from Hisense. They have been a favorite of mine for some times because Hisense makes great quality products at affordable prices, and that's all I'm ever looking for when I'm shopping electronics. They have a 43-inch TV in their A6G series. It's a ultra high definition TV that's an Android Smart display. And so with that, it can check off a lot of boxes. For starters, it does support the high dynamic range in the form of Dolby Vision, which is one of the more advanced and popular forms of this format. And you'll see that pop up a lot in Netflix, and the physical 4K discs typically support Dolby Vision as it's more popular, as its popularity grows. You also have a low latency mode, which is key for gamers such as myself. You got a lot of action going on your screen. You don't want that jumpy, jaggy kind of feeling. You want your display to be able to keep up with what's going on your screen. It also has Google Assistant, so you can ask questions about the weather or what's the latest news, and it'll give you all that. You can do voice commands on the remote control itself to navigate the TV, jump into your favorite Netflix show or movie with just a couple of simple commands. And of course, you can download all of your different apps for Netflix, Hulu, Vudu, Amazon Prime, and just have it all in one TV. And the best part, it completes my challenge because I have a $500 budget, and this TV is currently on sale at the recording of this video for $279.99 on eBay right now, which is an absolute steal. And for that amount of money, you're getting a great centerpiece to start off this challenge. So with that being said, let's move on to our next component. So next up on this challenge, I tasked myself with finding a 4K media player, and I chose the Sony UBP X700 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray player because one of its key components and something that's really hard to find at this price point is a 4K Blu-ray player that supported Dolby Vision. Now, as I mentioned with the TV earlier, that also supported Dolby Vision. Now we have both a TV and a media player that's in sync with one another with the same HDR format, and that would provide an even experience across the board because you don't want to have one without the other. And another cool feature is if if you wanted to hook up this particular media player to a TV that wasn't a smart TV, this device can be internet enabled, which will allow you to still stream your Netflix, your Hulus, your Voodoos of the world, all on this device, independent of the TV. And you can play 4K movies as well as Blu-rays, DVDs, and even your music CDs. So you can bring your whole entertainment catalog straight to this player. It can handle everything very smoothly, efficiently. And as far as the price point on eBay, as of the recording of this video, I have found this for as low as $110. And I've seen the price fluctuate on this a bit. Typically, the sweet spot is about 110 to 120. I actually purchased this product for myself in my home theater, and I was able to get it for even a little less than 110. But since that wasn't quite the normal price, I settled in on 110 as the price point that I'm using for this particular challenge. But again, for the most part, within the 110 to 120 range is where you'll see this sold on eBay, and these are probably refurbished models. To be fair, and not brand new listings, but I mean, I purchased a refurbished model and it's performing admirably, and I have had no issues and was able to update it really easy. So I highly recommend it. And now that we have two components of our challenge underway, let's move on to the third part. So for the third part of this challenge, I tasked myself with finding a sound system. And if you've been keeping tabulations with the budget I've run up so far, you probably realize by now that my funds are running low. So I had to take some liberties and find some cost saving measures to make this all work. And never fear, I did not give up. As challenging as it was, I did discover two sound bars on Amazon that I feel like I could live with if I was building this for myself. My favorite one was from Wohome. It's a sound bar this from their S89 model series. And the second one is from Majority to Time. And they're both in a similar price range. And the reason I like these sound bars in particular is because they both support the HDMI audio return channel, or it's known as ARC. And that's just an easy way to kind of connect everything and give you the best possible sound quality, other than maybe using an optical cable, which is also an option for these sound bars as well. But they fit in the budget. The Wohome, it currently retails for $79.99, but there is a $20 coupon that will drop the price down to after taxes $64.19 versus the Majority to Time, which I do like that soundboard, but I feel like the quality may be just slightly less. But it is a popular brand on Amazon. It's one of their best sellers, and it retails for $59.95. And it also has a 20% discount going on right now. So that drops the price all the way down to $51.32 even after taxes. So that will at least check off the requirement for a sound system that is not coming from the TV. And yes, you can use your TV sound. There's nothing wrong with that. But I have always been a bit stickler of having an external sound source, because these TVs, even the model that I mentioned for this challenge, in order to make a TV as affordable and as slim as they are coming in nowadays, that comes at the cost of usually the sound, because it's just not enough space to get quality sound speakers in those TVs. So the best way to compensate for that is to have some type of sound bar or home entertainment system set up to make sure you're not robbing yourself of these good experiences from your movies and television. So now that we satisfied those three requirements, it's on to tackle our last obstacle. So now I've been able to satisfy three key components of our 4K home entertainment system. We have a 4K display, we have the 4K media player, and we have a sound system. But we're missing one key component still, and that is 4K media content. Because without true native 4K content, you're still robbing yourself of that experience, even if you have all the other things in place. So let's make sure that we're choosing that content by knowing what to look for. Now, if you have Netflix or Amazon Prime, chances are you already have access to a large library of 4K content. Now, with Netflix, make sure that you're choosing the most premium tier plan. It's like the $17.99 plan, because that's the only tier that will unlock those 4K shows. And you'll see the icons when you start a show, if it says like Dolby Vision or 4K Ultra HD in those little boxes. When you start up your show, then you know that you have access to 4K content. Same thing when you go shopping for movies in Vudu, which is a streaming service brought to us by Walmart. They have a store, and if you shop for movies digitally through there, they have their UHD movies labeled, so that you can buy those and you can stream those and have those in your collection to view anytime you want, no matter where you go. But there is a fourth option, and that is 4K disc, which I personally love, because unlike streaming options, oftentimes you have to have a fast internet connection to get quality 4K movies to work properly on your home theater, in which you don't have to have that with a disc. You don't have to have any internet connection with a disc. You can just play it off of the disc, and you don't even have to sacrifice any of the visual quality or audio that sometimes gets lost when you're streaming, and you might not even realize it because it's just being compressed in a way that it might not be apparent to the average user, but to a techie or someone that's really an audiophile or videophile, there's just little nuances that can be plopped on the disc in its full form without even having to be compressed at all. So there's advantages to having a disc, and but they are pricey, and the selection of finding disc in stores, because remember, 4K discs are still kind of a new thing. There's only maybe 600 unique titles compared to tens of thousands of Blu-rays and hundreds of thousands of DVDs that you can choose from. So your selection might be a little small, and in-store shopping is going to be hard to come by. I know I struggled, even going to Target and Best Buy. I think Best Buy probably has the best selection of them, and even still, you might only see, 10 to 15 unique titles at best. So, slim pickings, but you can find them there. And if you go online, and I can show you how to navigate that, but there are ways to find good deals on the physical 4K media online if you know how to bargain shop for that. So, but with that, that completes the whole 4K home entertainment system. And so now let's look at our final totals. Well, folks, we did it. We're finally to the end of our challenge, and let's take a look at the results that we have. So, quick recap. We got a 43-inch Hisense 4K Android TV. We have the Sony UBP X700 Blu-ray player, and we have the Wohome Sound Bar S89 model. And all of these items come to a grand total of $480.41. So we did it! Woo! Round of applause for your host. And I take my bow. And I even saved you 1959 left, so you have a couple of options. You can run out to Best Buy and get you a 4K disc, or you could hop on Vudu, buy you a UHD movie straight from them to purchase, and you could even go to Netflix and sign up for a month of their premium service and get all your 4K content that way. Either way, this exercise was just a way to get people to think how they can build their own home entertainment system. And if your budget allows for $750, $1,000, $2,000, you can scale up to get the bigger screen. You can scale up to get the appropriate surround sound 5.1 or 7.2, Dolby Atmos, anything that you're looking for in a home entertainment system. Because remember, we've just, we're going through a pandemic, and those movie theaters might not always be accessible. So it's a good time to invest in home entertainment, because we might end up spending a lot of our times in our home, and we should not cheapen ourselves for having the best experience possible. And you can do that just as I've laid out for you here today. So if you appreciate the content that I've shared with you today, please do me a huge favor, like it and share it with your peers, and even give me feedback, because everything helps me to be a better content provider, and I want to make content that you enjoy. So thank you for your time. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.